All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Level Up podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and this is a show where I bring you through some of the things that I'm learning, trying, and doing in an effort to be a better person. It's a self development podcast. I talk all things that I'm exploring health wise, mental clarity, like mindfulness, career, and just all the things that I'm trying. So thank you for being here. Let's talk about some of the things that I've done the last week, and then we'll get right into it.
What is y'all saying? Y'all playing introduce. Hey, Ken, T-I-E, cut her loose. Call this to shut down, break a fuse. B-I-G, everything, do it like that.
So, kind of the order of how these things go, I'll talk about a recap of the week, and then we'll talk about some of the things that I want to start doing in the week going forward. Okay, let's just start with the weekend recap. This was one of the most eventful weekends that I've had pretty much since my birthday weekend, and that was the start of the new year. Well, the whole thing is, here's the deal. I had friends who happened to be coming in from out of town for work. So they flew in, and really great friends. Like, I know them, I've known them for years. That's Andrea and Alejandro, or Ale. And so they were planning to come in, and I also had a friend's birthday, and I had a neighbor who was doing a concert, like one of her performances for a really great album, Nia Hendrix. And then there's a goodbye happy hour, then there's Easter. It was a lot. So here's the breakdown of how things went. Friday afternoon, my friends come in from out of town. They land, and they arrive to our place. And then we're also not in our house. So that's another kind of like difficulty, how to coordinate having guests when we're in a clubhouse in our displaced living situation. But they knew that ahead of time, so we managed. So my friends came in from out of town, and then we kind of all did our things for a few hours, let them get settled in, and then we were prepping for happy hour. So the happy hour was both to pregame for Nia's concert and to say goodbye to a couple neighbors who are moving out of state. And I kind of got emotional. We were reading a card and like freaking hoarded my husband. He started playing this like sentimental music, and it's probably something that you would play at like graduation or something. And if he didn't play that song, then I wouldn't have cried. But he played it and I teared up a little bit. I'm such an emotional little baby. So that was a whole deal. I held it back. I didn't want to make this about me. Like the freaking the neighbors who are moving didn't even cry. I feel like one of them, the lady, wanted to shed a tear or two because I could just tell she was getting a little bit emotional. But yeah, so I just like, zip it, Angie. This isn't about you. Just like let them have their moment and let's continue having a good time. So my friends joined in with that happy hour. Unfortunately, logistic wise, we wouldn't have made it to the concert because our neighbor was the opener. So she had a really small slot. And I also needed, Ivy wouldn't have care. So we were with Ivy. And then later, a friend was watching Ivy. And then we went out to Terry's birthday. She was doing karaoke at a distillery. And I immediately arrived and sang, I got a drink. And then I thought there was going to be a queue, like a really long list of songs. So I came up to the MC and was like, hey, how do I get on this list? How do I get added to this? And she was like, yep, you just tell me. And I was like, who's next? Well, there's only one other group in front of you and they've already sung a song, so you can go next. And there I am, one drink in at the bar. I mean, I had a happy hour, but I was one drink in the bar, hadn't been there for more than 5 minutes, and I just jumped in singing Fergalicious. I think that's my go-to. It's a crowd pleaser. A lot of people know the Fergalicious song. I'm not saying that I'm really good at it. It's just easy. It's like fun. So, and I ended up singing it with someone who I had randomly met and so we didn't know that we were mutual friends with Terry. So it ended up fine. It was so cool. And we connected later, got her number, and who knows, maybe we'll get coffee or something. Okay. So then the party kind of went on and we went to a different venue. There's this place that's really cute in East Nashville. It's called Rosemary, and it looks like it's actually a house. So it's a historical home, and it's funny because there's like wraparound porch and stuff, and then you have to get your ID checked at almost like the fence at the front, the little white picket fence. I don't remember if it's white, but it's like the concept of just going to a place that's a bar that looks just like a house. Or was a house. So we finished our night there, And then when we went home, we kind of like just passed out, did the whole thing. And then the next morning was Easter egg hunt, which I was organizing. So I was very excited. I woke up before everybody in the house so I can go hide the eggs. And Ivy was the first person there, eagerly waiting to look for the eggs. And she was so cute. She didn't really understand how to hunt for them the first time until she saw some of the other kids join in and she got more of the idea. She was more of like thinking that the eggs would come to her. And she's like, oh, where are the eggs? And she would see them. It's like, oh, I see this egg, and not approach it. So I was thinking about this with a friend, and she was like, maybe that's something that they learn in school and daycare. Like, you can observe something, but don't approach it, which makes a lot of sense. Like, especially if you're thinking of something dangerous, like a snake or a car or a dog. A dog is a good example. It's like, oh, I see a dog. And then you stay put. Well, Ivy would see these eggs and just like, oh, I see an egg, and then stay put. So we were encouraging her, and I think she got the hang of it as the morning went on. One of the neighbors, Vicky, this, if you didn't catch on, this event was organized by the community, by the neighbors here, and someone had contributed chocolate bunnies so that all the kids could have like a special prize on top of the eggs or the toys in the eggs. And yeah, we gave everybody the chocolate bunnies. Ivy, when she saw the chocolate bunny, she just abandoned the egg process of opening them and enjoying them. She's like, I'm going to eat this chocolate bunny. And she didn't finish it, of course. It's huge for her. Like, in comparison, the chocolate bunny was like the size of her face. So that was fun. And then we kind of relaxed after that because we didn't really get a chance to fully recover from the night before. And then I can't remember what we did for lunch. I think we just ate at home. Everybody kind of did their own thing. And then later that evening, we went to a very popular place in Nashville for barbecue, Peg Leg Porker. We went there. I had wings. I love wings. I got dry rub wings. Very good. Ivy loved them too. Like, the outer coating of the dry rub is a little bit spicier. So I would just take the chicken meat from the inside, and she loved it. That girl loves some ro-ro, or that's Chinese for meat. And she has this cute little accent, and she'll call it yo-yo because she can't really say the R sound. So that was peg leg for dinner. And then we went, oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. Before peg leg, we went to a happy hour right before and just got like little bites and pieces and a couple drinks. And then we went to peg leg. And then after peg leg, I built a bonfire. I was just feeling like bonfire. I don't know. I really love tending to a fire. My friend had a little bit of a hard time because her allergies were acting up. And then on top of that, the smoke was kind of like getting to her. So we had ended the night and just relaxed. And then the next morning, went to brunch. And we went to brunch at Monell's, which is a really cute place because it's a family style dining. So the whole thing, the concept is that you can sit amongst strangers and share a meal. And there's these platters of food, so you don't really order by a specific type of food. Everybody just has these trays being served and circulated by the restaurant. And so they'll pass the food along and pass it to a neighbor. Yeah, so it was really fun. I don't often get to go to Monell's because it's, we just don't need such heavy food all the time. But the main reason is that it's always packed and you will have a significant wait time. So that was that. And then we grilled later that day. So this is Sunday brunch, and then later in the evening we grilled. We had sausage, steak, potatoes. I made bok choy, random addition, because we needed something green. And then there was also beans. So everybody really contributed a dish, and it was really fun. So that's that. My friends who are visiting they flew in from Philly, and they live in New Jersey. So they had to fly out that day. After dinner, we were like, well, take care of the dishes. You guys go ahead and pack. And, it was a really memorable weekend. Like multiple things happening on every day. It's like, oh my God, who am I? And okay, so some of you who are listening might feel like, I don't know, this is just kind of a normal. That's what I do. I'm go, go, go. And for me, this is a little bit a different pace that I'm used to, especially with a 2-year-old. So besides the events from the weekend, some things that are new that I've been going through where like I've got this huge pain in my shoulder, like, and it's so stiff, it goes all the way up to my neck, and it's a little bit uncomfortable to turn. So every single day this weekend, I've had to take Tylenol and Advil, just I like switching them around to make sure that I can manage the pain. It gets to a point where I'm waking up after it's kind of worn out around 4 a.m. and I can't fall back asleep because I'm in so much pain. So Friday, I've scheduled a massage so that I can try to work out some of those knots. I've been looking around, checking chiropractor, checking acupuncture, but because I'm not a regular patient at some of these places, a lot of the bookings don't take place until another week later. I think what happened to make me have this much pain is I irritated it doing pull-ups, assisted pull-ups. Like I can't do an unassisted pull-up. That's one of my year-end goals. But so I was so eager and like enthusiastic about that process, and like freaking, oh my God, it hurt so much. So I don't know what it is. This week I need to be stretching more. I need to do a lot of tissue massage work. I've got one of those things that you can put over your shoulders and then you press it down with the pressure of your arms and it can really dig into those knots. So that's something that I want to do. Now the 5 habits that I'm going to be tracking this week: strength training, logging my meals on MyFitnessPal, being tech free by 10 p.m. That means I can still read. Like I don't consider a Kindle like technology. Packing my bag for the next day, and then the last one is just reading. Very easy. I usually read, I usually strength train. The things that are going to be a little bit more challenging are packing my bag for the next day, being tech free by 10 p.m., and then logging my meals in MyFitnessPal. So the intention behind logging my meals, I noticed a bit of a plateau, like actually worse than a plateau. Like I've been very stagnant with, if we're just talking about muscle development, my percent of muscle is very stagnant. Oh, for months and months and months, for like 3 months. And I feel like I work my ass off. So I know that this is going to be driven by nutrition. I often, more recently, am finding myself very hungry. So I need to increase my protein intake and finding a way to keep that front of mind. I'm going to try using logging and having a separate app to do that to help keep that front of mind. The 3 things that I want to make sure that I accomplish this week are, with being tech free by 10, I also want to be able to sleep at a regular good time. I find that I've been waking up with that neck pain pretty much 3 a.m., 4 a.m. very consistently. And so my thought is to supplement with melatonin. I do have melatonin. It's been working fine for me. Some people who take it, they'll experience like nightmares or like a lot of difficulty waking up the next morning. They'll sleep in for too long. So this is something that I'm familiar with. I know that I respond well to it. I just haven't incorporated it in my routine for a while. This is a thing that's a carryover from last week, which is to charge my phone away from my bed so that I am not laying in bed looking at my phone. And then the last relaxation thing that I want to do is making sure that I am incorporating some kind of mindfulness activity in the office. So I get very excited in the office. I'm kind of back and forth and, all over the place. And if I can take just a moment to breathe, to do either a box breathing exercise, a 5-minute meditation, even a 3-minute guided meditation, I think I will be better off for it. Something that I actually haven't documented is I've been watching a few people who just seem to be really killing it online. And I know like the internet is your highlight reel, but one person I saw is just such a strength, like gym badass. And she has her hair curled every single day. Last week I talked about another person I work with who's a product partner to design, and she has her hair curled all the time. It's just so beautiful. It's like, wow, if you can come to work every day with your hair done, I feel like it's just a sign. And I want to try a little bit. And so I finally purchased this heatless curling tool, or heatless waves system. This was heavily popularized by Sydney Sweeney in the Euphoria show, because in Euphoria, there's a scene where she is trying to get, I think it's the guy's name is Jacob. No, that's his real name. what's a guy's name? And I'm getting my references all mixed up. So in Sydney Sweeney love interest Euphoria. Oh, it's Nate. There we go. Sorry, I had to just fact check myself a little bit. But Cassie in Euphoria, Sydney Sweeney is Cassie, and Cassie is so interested in this guy named Nate. And so she's trying to steal his attention away from his girlfriend and like make sure that Nate is paying attention to her. So she has this whole morning routine. She wakes up crazy early, and then the notable thing was like she had ice rollers or face rollers and gua sha, and this hair roller was really notable too. So I feel like the purchases of this heatless hair curler system just skyrocketed after Euphoria scene with Sydney Sweeney. I've put that off. I don't even remember when that episode for that season came out, but I've held out from purchasing that product for years. It's like, there's no need. I've got a Dyson, blah, 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 blah. But to be honest, there's something kind of special about being able to wake up and have your hair done. My hair is straight, very straight, and anytime I've ever tried to do heatless curls before, I kind of struggle with waking up with it being a little bit frizzy. So that's a risk here. If this kit that I bought doesn't work, I might want to buy a bonnet to see if that helps at all to reduce frizz. And another thing with heatless curls is that sometimes I'll wake up and it's limp. It didn't do a lot. And so the one that I bought isn't exactly the rod that goes from the top to the bottom and you tie them almost like into pigtails. There's one that like you do that, but then it's long enough that you can tie it back up into a little bow at the top. So I'm going to give that a try. Yeah, I mean, it was $10. It's $10. I'm going to try it. Like, that's lunch. That's less than lunch. That's how I excuse everything. I am so guilty of doing girl math. Yeah. So let's look a little bit more about some of the things that I need to get done. I have Apple Care for my laptop, so I need to go get them to have a checkup because I did spill a little water on it, and while it's still in warranty and stuff, I want to make sure that that's in good health. And since I'm going to be there anyway, I need to get my ring inspected at Kay's so that I can be in good standing for the service that we have. Yeah, so this is kind of a quick and easy update. I did really have a lot of fun moving my content, my plans from Q1 to Q2 for the physical journals, the agendas that I have. One thing that I've observed is that I just am not as regular with daily use. Like I get super excited the weekend and then Monday going into a new week, and then it really tapers off. Like Thursday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday blank. So this whole journal is almost only 50% used, if that. So this is a good system. I'm proud of the system. I don't know what I can do to improve the utilization towards the end of the week, except be aware of it. So very technical. and maybe it's not a problem. If it's helpful for me when I start the week and not helpful for me in the end, then that's okay. But I really do think that if I'm thoughtful about it with daily check-ins, then I'm hoping that means better results. All right, guys. I feel like I've been talking and talking and talking. Like, you only see this as going to be 15 or 20 minutes, but I just had a hard time starting this episode. I don't know what it is. Like, I just need more practice. And when I tell people who need to practice public speaking or, I don't know, making a TikTok or a reel or putting themselves out there, even interviewing for a job, it's mostly about reps or repetition. So you really just need to turn on the camera, talk, practice, and if it doesn't work, like you don't have to post it, and then just do it again and again and again and again. So with that said, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week, and we will level up together. All right, bye.